Just your thoughts on the group coming off the Austin game, coming back home facing Portland?
Yeah, I thought in the Austin game, again, I thought we could talk with the ball a little bit. I thought we had some good chances, and some good chances fell onto Gabe's foot. He hits the post when he went right one time. He comes into the left and he has a couple good looks. I think we showed again on the road, as always, has its challenges, but I thought we showed again a little bit of a transitional game at times, where we could break out of ball recoveries and get into the open field and be dangerous. There's a couple where I think we need to make maybe a little bit better decision, and we have a better choice in the final pass, and we get something out of it. But I thought there was, there was some things in the game that were interesting. I felt like broadly, the overall just intensity level of the game was not very high. I felt like it was, I felt like things were a little slow, and whether that's for us a 10:45 a.m. start, which is what it felt like. But I felt like our intensity level through the course of the game didn't remain high enough, and I think that's, again, I think there's probably factors of that, but some of it is, again, efficiencies for us and some of those things that we need to do on the defensive side. The same. I mean, but ultimately through large stretches of the game, it was an even game. Like it was not a game that we needed to necessarily to lose. And there was a couple situations inside of it that I think come down to key moments. The one that's the penalty I said the other day. The game gets outside of us. John's there. Edwin shows up in support of John, and there just needs to be communication in the situation. Like, John needs to know that Edwin's on his shoulder. Edwin needs to be telling John, I got the inside, so that John can just take away the line. Instead, John's trying to take away both the line and the inside, and the guy gets him a little bit on skates, and then we end up making it, but we didn't need to be in that. It was just communication and taking control of the situation. That would have eliminated the penalty. Okay, we saved the penalty and we get through it. Then in this, the second goal comes from we deal with the situation. I feel like we're still not sliding across and creating clarity on the strong side, but Amiro's speed can cover some of these things when I think sometimes he needs to get across a little bit earlier, but his speed is able to recover him. We win the ball, we play out, we get stuck in possession. We still have plenty of numbers between the ball and the goal. Mickey goes to press. We talked about it this week. Like, he over-presses the situation. And what's happening behind the play is that we aren't organizing the defending behind the play. We're kind of, again, that staying engaged in the game and recognizing the next action. Eric needs to step and push Amiro a little bit wider to cover Mickey, who's out of the situation. Mickey tries to recover the ball. They spin. Now they play their ball into the winger. And now we go from being numbers enough behind the ball and in a situation that we can contain it and we're under control to being out of control like this, right? And now Amiro's now trying to make it a miraculous recovery and a 2-foot slide to block the pass, and we've become reactive, and we have, again, enough numbers behind the ball. If we do the early work, there's not a situation there, and Amiro doesn't have to try to slide, and when he does, unluckiness happens, which is you deflect the ball, the center back who's now in position to clear it, the ball gets past him, and we created our own sort of misfortune. But it was through, again, like these little decision moments and not being prepared for what can happen. So these are things that, like, we've been talking about and looking at video, because there's little moments, like it's details inside of the game on both sides that we've got to be tight. And yes, mistakes are going to happen, but when a mistake happens, we need to be in positions to cover up each other and to deal with it, because all across the game, mistakes happen, right? But you don't compound a mistake with another mistake or a lack of preparation for the mistake. And those are the things that our margins are thin right now, and we've got to cover these things and increase our margins over the course of the game, and they become details, And so it's trying to get everybody to pick up and connect on this. And I do think because of again, I'm not blaming the start time, but the early start time, I feel like the energy and the intention and the emotion was a little bit slow. Maybe being on the road, again, it's challenging being on the road, but I feel like these things have to be sharper for us in in the position that we're in because our margins aren't great. Last year we made mistakes too. But our ways to score goals were more vast. Our ways to get ourselves out of it were larger. Some of those things where we could make a mistake, no problem. We're going to score 2 or 3 because we've got a lot of ways that we can get ourselves out of those situations. Right now, the margins are thin in terms of wins and losses because we don't have as many great chances, and and we're not totally executing on some of those moments. So then it's coming down to details and some scrappiness in certain areas. And those are the things that, again, we're harping on this week. And with an extra day of training, it's been nice to have. Looking forward to an evening game at home. But, again, things that we've got to close up, to try to, again, put ourselves in better positions to take more points.
What are your discussions with Gabriel? He had about 3 or 4 opportunities in the first half. I thought one.
Yeah.
Maybe the bar too, but of course he's not going to be what he was last year. People expect him to do the same thing this year.
Yeah, look.
He only has worked 1 goal so far. What have been those discussions?
Yeah, again, with Gabe, the keys for me is that Gabe needs to stay aggressive. There's times in this season where he's looking for the ball at his feet a lot, and he's slowing the game down, and he's trying to play playmaker a little bit. And we need Gabe to be play finisher more and picking up the ball on the run or running through the spaces so that we can play him on the run. And that's where I think he's seeing some of these chances that they were in transition. They're when he's picking up the ball and he's already on the move and he has the defender on their heels. Now he can start to dictate the game. But when he's stagnant and he's receiving it, teams are getting numbers around him. They are, right? He's then having to go from a stationary position to a moving position, and it's taking too long, and that's also hurting him, right? And he's a guy that when he gets on the move, he's really, really difficult to defend. And so also after he plays passes, we want him to keep moving and not just play passes that to somebody and then let that guy do the action. Play and move and create a new scenario for himself to receive the ball on the move. So it's getting him, again, it's not his intentions. His intentions are great. He wants to help the team. I think it comes down to the application of what he should be applying into any given moment and turning his meter a little bit more on, you don't need to be playmaker. We want you to be play finisher. And we want you to, again, keep finding these dangerous moments. When it comes to the finishing stuff and taking some of these chances, it's just sharpness. I really think the more things he can do on the run in training and the more things he can do on the run in games, I think the more these things are going to fall into sync, timing-wise, technique-wise, all those things, and he's going to start finding the back of the net. We see it in training. At a great goal this week. It's building up these intentions, and so part of it's trusting the rest of the group, to get him the ball in certain ways when he's running and when he's going when he's running through these spaces or when he's doing things. You got to trust that we can deliver to you as well, because sometimes looking for it at your feet it's a safer, easier thing for guys to do. So I think it's just keep continuing to drive that home with him.
Was that first half his best stretch you think so far?
It may have been, yeah. I didn't think about it in those terms, but I felt like in terms of getting moments and getting chances that we're used to seeing Gabe bury, I think he saw a few of them. If I recall correctly, I feel like the game before he had a couple too. So I think over the last 2 games, you would probably argue that Gabe has had 3 to 5 good looks that you normally see Gabe come away with something out of those. The right-footed one he hit off the post in this game. I feel like he had a left-footed one recently that maybe nicked the back post at one point. Some moments like that. The other thing is, we're really emphasizing to work for the last 10 to 15 yards of the field. I think we're coming inside too soon, and we need to be more conscientious of working for deeper areas on the field and both in our wingers and other players that we're working through the back line and not just in front of the back lines.
Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, thanks for talking.
Hey, Josh.
One is, how much power are you guys keeping on yourself just from not winning?
Josh, your volume is so low.
I can't hear you great, Josh.
That might be me,
I think
though.
I feel like it's us. I don't feel like it's you. So let me see if we can.
Oh, this Dismiss that.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah,
Oh, we got
perfect.
you. We got you now. There you go.
Okay,
It
cool.
was on Kevin.
Yeah.
Good job, Kevin. How much pressure are you guys sort of heaping on yourself, just the fact that you haven't won? And if you win, how much pressure will you think that will sort of relieve from the team?
Well, I think the group feels the pressure to get a result. I do. I think that's what we're here for, to get results. And after coming off of such a successful season the year before, and with some expectations obviously for things to be smoother at the start, and the different things that we've been managing through at the beginning, and not me, but just as a group, I think we're everybody's feeling like a result will go a long way for us, just kind of emotionally to kind of reinforce certain things, but also just to get points going, because I think in some of our performances we've had really good stretches in games where we've been really in control, and we've seen some good parts of things, and I don't think we should be sitting on whatever we are, 3 points or whatever right now. I think there was more in those games for us to be taking out of these games, and so I think the group does feel it, and I think it's driven some good conversations, which it can, about commitment to details inside of games and things that we have to understand that are way more important right now than, again, maybe at times last year, because we were so dynamic in the attack and we could punish teams. We could get away with a couple things here or there that now we're not getting away with. We've got to, for example, doing a little bit of cheating the defensive effort in search of a transition moment. Last year, I can point out to 10 occasions where we cheated those moments, and then we recover the ball and we go flying out and we score goal number 3, goal number 4, goal number 5, and it's like, thanks for coming. Now we cheat those moments and we're paying for it on the other side, and so it comes down to, again, the commitment to details, playing every play, that we don't have the margins to sometimes take these little liberties in the game. We've got to be able to see through them. But emotionally, it would be a huge lift to win. There's no doubt, no question. Winning does make things feel a lot better. So I think the group feels. I think they feel appropriate pressure, but we like being at home, and we know our fans are going to be behind us, and now we've got to translate, effort and intention into execution.
And then on Ricky Puig, I saw that Ricky was back with you guys. I know you put out some pictures of him. Is that just a trip in to sort of check to where he's at? Is he going to stay here in the States? From where is his training and recovery going to be based from here on out?
Yeah, I mean, he's still a little ways away, and so
yeah.
He's in doing. He was here for a couple weeks, doing his testing and checkouts and seeing where he's at and making sure, again, we're all on the same page as to next steps and where it's going. He'll go back and continue his work back in Barcelona with the staff that are there, and keep progressing, and then he'll come back out for another check, and then from that point we'll start to hone in on the full-time being here and getting ready. So he's probably I'm not the doctor, a few weeks away from being like running and doing some of those things, and then by summer, at some point in the summer, he'll be back into the training environment. So we're still a ways away, but with every week, month, we're getting closer, which is nice. But this is going to be a long progression too, because the type of player that Ricky is, you don't just come out of this type of injury and jump right back into the types of things that he's capable of doing. There's going to be a retraining process a little bit for him, and so we just want to make sure we're taking the right steps with him, and that he's working through the process appropriately. So I think it's for all of us too. We've got to be mindful and cognizant of that. He's going through a process, and we're going to have to trust that process and work through it. So
thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Greg. Thanks so much for your time. You've already faced Portland this year, 1-1 tie there in Portland. What did you take from that match that you guys can, learn from that team and apply it to this next one to try to get a result? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought in that game it was a good road draw for us. I felt like, in the first half, I felt like some things weren't super clear for us, and it was a little bit more of maybe a touch more of a first half grind, both with and without the ball. But we steadied through it. I thought the second half we imposed ourselves. Once, after the fact, we gave up the goal early in the second half on a second phase, sort of a corner kick or free kick. I can't remember exactly, but I remember the game goes back out wide and a runner in front of us, and we don't manage the box, and they get up 1-0. I thought our response was excellent after that. Again, I thought we managed the ball well, and I thought we defended well inside of it. And again, it came down to that game. Again, chance creation in terms of creating high-quality chances and trying to execute them. I didn't think we had a ton. And then we get one once we make a couple substitutions. That's just a little diagonal ball in the back behind their back line, which was a little aggressive and not aware in the moment. We got in behind them and we turned it into 1-1. But I thought it was a good road point, and I thought through stretches of the game we definitely found control of the game in Portland. Not always easy to do against a team that's very dynamic and excellent in the transition. I thought we did a good job of controlling a lot of those moments. They got a little fuzzy at the very end as we started to make some adjustments and changes to get some fresh legs in. It got a little fuzzy, but in the grand scheme of things, I thought it was a solid road point, of which we kind of built ourselves into the game and had some strong moments throughout it. There's certainly some things that we can take away always from a game like that. They'll probably have a few new faces on the field that weren't available at that time, that bring a different layer to them. But in the grand scheme of things, I felt like certainly there's some key things inside of there that we can be mindful of and hopefully use inside of this next game. And hopefully being at home and being in our stadium and on our grass and things like that, we can feel a little bit more comfortable in some of the especially some of the moments on the ball and chance creation, things like that.
Go ahead, Damon.
Where's Maya in his progress?
Yeah, Maya's doing great. He trained full today, so he feels good. So it's a good chance he could be available for this weekend. I don't think he's necessarily laid down enough to start straight away because he's probably a week ahead of schedule. But he's done a lot of really good work to get himself to this point, and he's checked off a ton of the boxes along the way and on consistent days. So it was nice to see him in training and hear his voice out there. It's huge for us, and so he's getting a lot closer, and we'll see as we get through training tomorrow if in fact he can be involved and what that would look like.
And Marco came through okay last game.
Yeah, Marco physically has been, health-wise has been progressing in training every day and has been okay. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, we're good.
That's it.
Thanks, everybody.